Hi, I'm Courtney and welcome back to Haven's Kitchen. Today I'll be showing you a few plating secrets that I always go to make any plate look really, really beautiful. So when we were growing up, I feel like playing with our food was highly discouraged. But what I found as I've gotten older and grown in my career as a chef is that playing with your food is actually really fun, not just for you as a home cook, but also for others when they're enjoying your food. So I'm gonna show you a few cool ways to plate with our sauces. And I always say that our sauces are like your paintbrush. So feel free to use them. They come in these really beautiful pouches so that it makes it easy to squeeze and sort of easy to design and make all of your plates feel like artwork. So I'll be showing you a couple simple steps. All of these are really, really easy and they're super attainable. So one of my favorite things to do is you start off with an empty plate. Now imagine, of course, that there's some food here or that some food is going to be going onto this. But the way that I like to start is actually sauce first on the plate, unless it's in the actual recipe. So if you want to add an extra little flourish of like your turmeric tahini, then what you'll do is you will squeeze a good little dollop of your sauce onto the plate, usually in like that upper third. And then what you'll do with the back of a spoon, and this is like my favorite part, is you will drag your spoon through the back half of this little circle that you've made here. So you end up with this really juicy, delicious looking apostrophe. And I'm obsessed with this because it's an easy way to sort of serve that extra dollop of sauce that people want on their plate without feeling like you need to drizzle over everything. Or if you've got a really good crisp on your chicken, you've gotten a really good golden sear on something and you don't want to cover it with your sauce, you can always just serve it on the side. I really love using this technique for plating whenever I've got something like chicken and rice. It's not necessarily like the most juicy. It doesn't have a bunch of liquid. So it's not going to intermingle too much with this beautiful plating that we've already done. And it's not going to pour all over the sides, but you just want to have that extra little squeeze of sauce and you can just drag your chicken or your rice or your grains or your potatoes or your vegetables right through here. And it keeps your plate feeling still really clean while having that little zhuzh. Now, when it comes to plating things in bowls or bowling, so when you're using a bowl, I think it's best to follow the natural shape of the inside of your bowl. Now for this one, because I'm going to be plating up some pasta and making it look really beautiful, instead of doing our kind of signature zigzag of sauce, I'll be doing a light circular motion to create this really beautiful swirl that you will also be able to see when you actually plate your pasta inside the bowl. And of course, always remember to give your sauce a shake. Now I like to start in and go outward. Oop. Now this spiral is much more fun and whimsical. I really love it again for pasta or anything that's kind of like brothy. It's got a little bit of that oil in it and is just going to soak up all of that delicious sauce at the bottom, but maybe you didn't want to add your romesco to your pasta for it to change the full color. This is a great way to sort of plate anything that you want to sort of maintain its original color, its original gloss, but also still get your saucy secret down at the bottom of your bowl. And the spiral is just really, really fun. I mean, sometimes, you know, you can just plate like on one side, or you can bring out everybody's bowl with the spiral down in the bottom and they can serve themselves the pasta, which is also really fun and keeps eating at home super interactive. All right, cool. So another one of my favorite ways to plate a dish is kind of using, I call this a pla bowl. It's like a plate bowl because it's got these really beautiful high edges. And this is really perfect for serving something like meatballs that's a little bit saucy, but it's not necessarily something you would need to serve in like a super high edged bowl. And for that reason, I really like reaching for this. It's got some width on it. It's got a little bit of depth, but you're also still able to see all of the really beautiful components in the dish and have some security in piling things high. And I find that frequently when I'm using something that has a pla bowl, for whatever I don't know why I keep calling it a flavole. It's not, that's not what it is, but like I like it, okay. So I find that whenever I'm reaching for a bowl or plate, much like this one, I'm also sort of leaning for something a little bit creamier in terms of sauce and consistency. So what I really like to do is I'll start off with some plain Greek yogurt and I'll add in one of my favorite sauces, which is our Zippy Chili Harissa. And I'll squeeze in about a quarter pouch. And it's going to just give like this really beautiful depth of color to our yogurt. And it's a really great way to sort of like lighten up a sauce or make like that creamy sauce without using sour cream or something super cheesy. And so I'm giving this a mix and you'll see it'll start to take on this really beautiful sort of soft orange pink color. And then with this yogurt sauce, I will just sort of ladle it directly into the center of my plate. You can just scoop it straight out of the bowl like this. And then again, using the back of your spoon, you are going to smear it in the center of your plate. And it creates this really beautiful nest for all of the things that you'll be serving in it. So if you want to serve like a bunch of roasted chicken thighs here in the middle, you could serve them directly in the center. This is also really great for, again, something like meatballs or something that you would pile really high here in the center, because you don't necessarily want to cover up all of this really beautiful sauce. And you still want there to be some negative space around the edges of the bowl, because aesthetically, I mean, it's really just very pleasing, but then also it ensures that you don't end up with sauce coming out all over the place as people are going in to serve themselves. Another technique that we really love to use here at Haven's Kitchen is, of course, the squiggle. Now, the beauty of this pouch is not only that, you know, it's super sustainable and it's much lighter, very easy to store inside of your fridge, but it also gives you a lot more handheld control when you're adding sauce to a dish. So unlike a jar where you're maybe like pouring it out and just kind of hoping for the best and hoping that it doesn't splatter, you are ending up with a whole lot more control in your hand when you're using one of our pouches. And for this one, we love a squiggle. Now, the squiggle has just been HK signature for as long as we've had the sauces. It plates really beautifully. You can plate a full bed of like anything on top of it. You can throw a salad on top. You can throw proteins on top. It's just a really gorgeous base and a great way to add some vibrancy and color to your dish. But in addition to that, it's also really beautiful on top. So you can always, you know, throw a squiggle on top of like your salmon when you're done cooking it, and, you know, plate that with some extra herbs, parsley, mint, what have you. And it always just looks really, really beautiful and feels very impressive with like minimal work. So for this one, we're going to plate a squiggle at the bottom of our plate. I cannot say squiggle and not laugh. Okay. Y'all, because I love it. It's like, let's get squiggly. Okay. All right. All right, so for the squiggle, it is super, super simple. You're essentially just going to pick a point on your plate to start. I like starting at the right kind of uppermost hand corner of my plate. And then I just squeeze very gently all the way down. And you want to get like an even, consistent ribbon of sauce. If you end up with a little extra drip, just wipe that away and, you know, you can lick your fingers clean. Right? That's a top tier squig. That was a good squig. Yeah. I did that. Look at me with my director. I don't even have my hat today. Okay. All right, so there you have it. A few techniques for how to make any dish come together really beautifully using our sauce, or no, because we only want to promote our sauce. Nuh-uh, don't you buy that. All right, so there you have it. A few very simple plating techniques that'll help you elevate your home cooking game. I absolutely love reaching for these literally all the time. It's really Instagram worthy, which I know a lot of people are always sort of thinking about when they're making a meal. And it only really requires our sauce to be able to do it. It just comes together so fast and really usually only requires like the back of a spoon. If you enjoyed this tips and tricks video, be sure to like and subscribe to see all of our future tips and tricks and recipe videos. To buy the Haven's Kitchen sauces and to use our pouches as your paintbrush, click the link below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, cook happy.